Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 3 of the Zero Gravity Gaming Gold League Spring Split. I am MXL, joined tonight by Arlent. How are you doing on this fine night?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm looking for some interesting games over here in the end of these group stages. Like you've been telling me a little bit behind the scenes about how crazy uh it can potentially get, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, definitely excited to see how this is gonna play out. Big things to note, this is the final night of the first round robin, so after this we will have a better understanding of where each team stands. But New Wave Vice coming into tonight 0-2 in match score, Infernal Dive 1-1. If Infernal Dive wins, they are in control of second place. They have the head-to-head, I believe, over oh uh they do have the head-to-head over I believe it was Hyperion Sword that they beat last week.
Mhm.
And going into this week, they're looking to continue that dominance. But if New Wave wins, this could completely change the dynamic of Group B.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I've been following it a little bit on my spare time, and I've been watching a few of their games when I haven't been casting. So I must say I enjoy what I see from both teams. Um, Yeah, I also expect Dive to take this game. Um, like you said, just the record alone is something to go off of, and if they can, of course, win this, then like you said, they'll have the head-to-head record. But we're gonna hop into a quick pick and ban phase here. Jinx, Lux, and Zoe already off the table, and add Tristana to that. That's a pretty strong first
Yeah.
4 to 6 bans.
Looking at a lot of, 80 carry bans, the big things that are standing out as still being open. The Zeri, still available.
Mhm.
Aphelios, not too seen, I would say, as of late. Zinzao, still strong even after the nerfs, so not too surprised to see that gone. And I was excited. I saw in the OPs, I saw a little bit of Shaco. I was wondering if we'd see it tonight. Not going to be the case, but Zeri's still open. You think this is still first pickable?
I think she's pretty good. I think she's maybe not first pickable, probably red 1 or blue 3, right? I don't think she's as OP as Aphelios if you can play Aphelios, but I think she's still solidly head and shoulders above
Oh,
champions. And I think this is a risky move, first picking the Samira. I think she can get very hard countered very easily,
yes.
and you can turn your life into a living hell very quickly.
Absolutely love the champion. She did just get some pretty substantial buffs, I'd say, as well. That ultimate has slightly less cooldown, which doesn't sound too impactful, but it was 8 seconds before. That felt atrocious, I'm going to be honest with you. Got some extra armor, got some extra HP, and actually Zeri going to fall to the wayside as now we see Xayah going to be the answer. Samira has been one of my personal answers to Zeri, so not too surprised personally, but interested to see Xayah.
Yeah, she also just got buffed recently, what was it, like 75% or 0.75 extra damage on her E per crit or something like that. Pretty decent build in crit Xayah. Lethality Xayah, of course, is still a viable build, so I don't mind it here. Kind of rough not to grab the Rakan with it, but of course you're still waiting on that Rakan counter pick. But to show the Sejuani with the Trundle still open, I feel like this is all too easy of a pick for Vice to go for. Grab the Ahri, grab the Trundle, and you are sitting at a very strong 3-man core right there.
Yeah, and Trundle, definitely a pick that I'm personally not a fan of seeing. I keep getting clapped by it in certain games in certain leagues that might also be known as Zero Gravity Gaming Plat, but it's definitely a smart lock-in, and yeah, you called it. Definitely a good matchup into the Sejuani. Love to see that. And I do want to take this time real quick to mention something that New Wave Vice actually brought up to me, Moby. We were talking a little bit going into tonight, and we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast they are sitting at 0-2 for the time being, but they're still feeling really strong with how they've been performing. They mentioned they played well against RAR, they feel. They played well when they played against Hyperion, so really hoping that tonight is where it all kind of clicks. They bring in Life for a new top laner, and especially going up against the new top laner in Doggeroo for the side of Infernal Dive. Very interested to see how that matchup will play out, but was not expecting to see this locked in tonight. Annie going to be the response pick into the Ahri.
I like it. New Wave Ice, they are lacking in a little bit of engage, and Annie is just really good at stuffing teams that only have, 1 or 2 ways into a fight, right? She can also kind of look for flanks on her own and look for cheeky little picks off before a fight even starts, and she excels at that into Samira. Her ultimate goes over the wind wall. Not the rest of her abilities, but definitely that ultimate just drops right down on top of Samira, and she's out of the fight. She can win, or go even rather, in lane versus Ahri, and she's just an all-around safety pick. So I really like this, and now it's on New Wave Ice to grab 2 engaged champions for them, like really easy engage. They definitely need it in the top lane, they definitely need it in support, or else this Annie is going to wreak havoc on trying to engage into her team.
Yeah, and we mentioned as well, or I should say you mentioned, they need engage. A good way to get that is through the support role. Leona taken off the table. Blitzcrank as well, another pick option. Interested to see Morgana and Karma band away here, knowing that, you know, there's an angle where you just pick the Zyra Khan, Morgana being one of the worst matchups for Khan, already taken off by New Wave. So interested to see they're actually going to opt into Lulu. Oh my gosh, I hate this champion. I mean, if you couldn't tell, I'm an AD main, so yeah.
I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah. Hate Lulu, play Zeri, play Samira. Yeah. Nautilus is going to be the response, though, like that with the Samira. Decent into Lulu. What are your thoughts on this bot lane matchup so far?
I think I have to give the edge over to Infernal Dive. I find it's very hard for Nautilus to play when there's a double range in the bot lane and he's constantly getting hit by skill shots and poke and whatever else have you. So by the time he does finally get to engage, he's engaging with about half his HP bar missing, and that's a relatively easy cleanup for the Xayah and Lulu, who have great disengage of their own, right? They're very safe. It's a very strong bot lane, and Lulu has opportunity to roam once that Xayah hits 6, or they can look to dive, play around that Xayah ultimate, play around that Lulu ultimate. And it's just super hard for this Nautilus to really get things going.
It's going to be Sejuani top if this is locked in. And yeah, that looks to be the call. Sejuani top. Now, again, I'm going to mention my team that plays in Plat. Our top laner loves Sejuani top. TP Ignite, you just like skirmish, you permafight. You do a ridiculous amount of damage for no reason, but it's fun.
I mean, yeah, it's fun. Is it the greatest pickup in the world, especially with Shin? I don't think so. Shin loves demolishing tanks, right? Yeah. He has so much damage early on. So I feel like Shin just will win this one. And he can block Sejuani's crucial auto, which is always she wants to auto after her stun. If the Shin is good at buffering, he'll drop his W right as he gets stunned. And the Sejuani just does it. She's missing out, what, on 10... I think it scales up from 5% to 10% to 15% of someone's max HP. So that's a lot of damage, especially early on, and that will be a lot of damage Sejuani will be missing out on in their combo if the Shin is able to press W in time. But yeah, they're, like we said, they're only lacking, or they only have one way to get into a fight really, besides a Trundle Pillar or an Ahri Charm, and I don't think that's enough to beat Annie's disengage.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. You mentioned it. Disengage, engage definitely seem to be some of the facets coming out. I think Infernal Dive, you mentioned the Sejuani, you mentioned the Annie. Nocturne, like, they can do it all, right? They can go for that, like, balls to the wall engage with the Nocturnal, the Sejuani ult. You can have the Annie R flash in. Or if you want to play it slower, you can use Annie as the disengage tool. You have the Xayah ultimate. You have the Lulu just being Lulu. For lack of a better term. And I think I'm in agreement. I don't know, like, specifically how New Wave's going to look to shut this down. I think there's too many tools that can keep Samira just pummeled into the ground as this game goes later.
Oh, yeah, I think Samira's going to have a very hard time playing this game. It's really going to be looking at this Ahri and Trundle, how they play that 2v2 mid-jungle matchup, because I don't even give them the edge in that, really. I think Trundle can do work into Nocturne if he gets to jump on him first, but if Nocturne, of course, comes out of the shadows with Paranoia, it's an entirely different story. So it's really on this Ahri and Trundle just doing work around the map, Nautilus roaming, and Shin beating Sejuani in the top lane. That's what they're really hinging on.
Yeah, definitely can see that, but I'm interested to see what happens with this Ahri Annie matchup. I can't say this is one that I see a ton of. I've seen a ton of Ahri recently, but I know maybe like 3 people total who play Annie still. So I'm interested as to your thoughts just in the isolated 1v1. What's going to happen? How we should expect to see potentially both junglers play around it? What are you thinking going into this 2v2 mid?
So I think when you're playing Annie, I played just a game of her recently, a few games. I really do enjoy the champion. I find she has a really strong kit. I think it's just underutilized or not utilized correctly in competitive play. When you're playing Annie, it's not really like we said, flash ulting, looking for those big plays. She's an insane disengage champion. Once you have stun up in a river fight or at a Baron fight or at a mid game team fight looking for turrets, that stun is such a big deterrent. And if you just wait for that crucial target, which is generally going to be Ahri dashing in, or it's generally going to be Nautilus hooking in, or even Shin dashing in this case, she does so much work like that, playing a deterrent role rather than get stuff done role. When you are forced to have any as your primary engage and your primary damage dealer, then you start to run into troubles because that's just not her role, especially with the current items. I think she really far excels as that more supportive disengage mid lane champion, a la Victor. Like Victor loves to disengage in team fights, so I think you play any kind of like in that sort of disengage style, she's going to find a lot of success, especially into Ahri, who puts herself in harm's way to do so much damage.
Yeah, definitely can understand that as well. Interested to see. The big thing that I'm going to keep my eyes on are really how well this Trundle's able to keep Annie down. I think one of the struggles Annie does have is that immobility, right? Doesn't have anything in her kit really that says, I'm getting out of something. Has the flash, that's about it. But we will have to see. Hopefully we should be getting on into the client draft here in a second, as you probably saw on the computer behind me. Actually, we just did. One of the beauties of what I do here. Unfortunately, I will be running 2 spectator clients on the broadcast, so should be expecting that one to be a little fun. This is what I normally do in the background during our broadcasts on every Thursday night, so it's nice to be front-facing for once. But before we hop on into a short break, Arlen, any quick thoughts? I'll actually just have the draft pop back up here for you, but any more quick thoughts you want to go into before we take a break?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just make 2 statements real quickly. Number one, just who I think has won this draft in a vacuum. Like if we're assuming best players in the world, right? Like Chobi, Faker, Jinji, T1, right? I have to give the edge to Infernal Dies. I think there's comp is just too really easy to play, really easy to execute. Let them engage. You re-engage with Nocturne, Sejuani ult, or play the pick game with Sejuani Nocturne. In terms of how difficult it is to play. Again, I think, like I said, Infernal Dive just has ease of execution on their side, and that's something that you really have to consider when drafting for anything below Diamond, realistically. Just Sejuani Nocturne, wait, then go in. Or just go in on like 1 or 2 targets and take those winning early game team fights.
Yeah, definitely excited to see how this plays out. Once again, the winner of tonight really shapes out how Group B is going to look going into the second round robin. So this is a very, very big game, even though not necessarily the most impactful based on how the standings look thus far. We'll have to see how it's going to go, though. We're going to take a short break. Game 1 between New Wave Vice and Infernal Dive coming out on the other end. Welcome back, everybody, to the first game of this best of three between New Wave, Vice, and Infernal Dive. I am MXL, joined once again by Arlent tonight, and we're already seeing something spicy coming out from New Wave. They're looking for this 5-man invade onto the red buff.
I mean, when you have a Nautilus, why not? When you have, like, what else are you going to do with the Nautilus except look to invade a little bit, get a little bit cheeky with it? Maybe they're spots out here.
Yeah, they're all behind. Scariot just now spotting out the fact that there are 5 members of New Wave here, but the Dredgeline's going to land the taunt flash as well from Mew, and that's first blood going over to New Wave very quick and taking down Attack Titan early on.
That feels really good, but at the same time, it feels really, bad because, like, what do you have to trade for that? Well, you have to trade it, Ignite, you have to trade a Flash, particularly in the top side, and you have to start rather subpar abilities on, Kali and Abysmal Mew, right? You have to start Taunt and Charm for those two, and that just, I don't know, it feels good to get Attack Titan, but considering it's only 400 gold to a support, and, a few other people got assist, at the end of the day, it doesn't amount to too much, and it's not something that can swing the early game too much in their favor.
Yeah, definitely kind of feel that. I know, if I'm the AD there, feels kind of bad I didn't get that kill. But
Flaming support.
Oh yeah, support diff, go next. You know how it is. You're spamming FS votes from minute 10 onward. But yeah, I think it's still a big, like, obviously they didn't get a summoner spell off of Attack Titan, right? But even just that small little mental edge of like, all right, we just had 5 people invade you without you guys knowing, sometimes that can really put a wrench into the plans of really anyone. And I think Attack Titan clearing bot up seems to not be too much of a fan of that. I'd assume he'd be wanting to play towards this bottom lane on the Nocturne early on.
I don't think he has to play towards his bot lane at all.
Okay.
As a hook hits, it's going to be level 2 damage going over to Moby White in squad, but they survived that. Suicidal getting level 2 just in the nick of time. But as I was saying, I don't think you have to worry about playing through his bot side. Like I said, they're so incredibly safe into this Nautilus. Even if they get hooked, like we just saw, they just walk out of it, and huge trade
the
there.
Shadow Dash up top. Doggeroo gonna be caught up by this pillar, nowhere to go. Gonna burn the flash, but still slowed on the other end. Attack Titan nowhere nearby. Doggeroo is still level 2, so will not have much. Flash forward will get the kill for Laxinate, and now Attack Titan trying to just run away, uses that Q to try and run, but Mew, another beautiful taunt, 3 for 3 on the camera feed so far, but flash out from Attack Titan, knows there's no flash follow, so will be able to walk out, but I don't really know where he's gonna walk to. Might just be trying to run away, and we'll be able to reset next to that Gromp pit, I would assume.
Looks to execute probably. That's the best move, because look at...
Oh, they're pinging him, but the Dredgeline is gonna land onto the Xayah. She's gonna be taken a little bit, but yeah, Attack Titan gets spotted out. Mew trying to just walk away, will get feared up, but Attack Titan ends up falling. And now that is a 0-2-0 Nocturne in this early game.
And that's already 1.3k to the side of New Wave. Yeah, like I was saying, I really think you want to be playing towards the top side, both junglers, because we just saw how impactful that can be. If you can get this Sejuani to survive the laning phase for this side of Attack Titan, that's huge. If you can get this Shin to dominate the attack laning phase on the side of Abysmal Mew and Laxinate, that's even better. So, like I said, it's just all about good little buffer there, but it's going in. He doesn't have flash, neither one do.
A Dredgeline lands again onto Radiant Cord, and that's a dash in instantly from Neotari. But now all of the summoners burned here. Radiant Cord should be taken low. Moby White gonna find that kill with the Ignite. The Triumph Field coming out for this. Oh my gosh. Samira barely ends up falling, but back in the top side, we're still fighting the Permafrost. Gonna land down onto Mew. And now it's just the Machine Gun Lulu coming in. Of course, still has the Relic Shield, so not really. But I can dream auto attacks in the bot lane. And top lane still trading excessively, but again, the 1-for-1 down bot, support's getting both kills.
Absolutely huge for both supports there. Now the Moby boost complete on Nautilus. Now he can leave the lane whenever he wishes. Samira, I don't think ever really has to worry about getting killed under turret without Nocturne having 6 of his own.
Oh, the Shadow Dash. Doggeroo gonna find the Permafrost. The Arctic Assault as well, and the Grass proc will be enough for the solo kill. A little over-aggressive from Mew up in the top side. And pretty big chunk of gold to go over to a Sejuani at this point.
A huge chunk of gold over to Sejuani that was down, right? Down so much. Look, like roughly 1100 gold for the Shin here. Only 300 gold worth of stats for the Sejuani. So that's a really big win um, for Doggeroo and squad. Enough to bring back the goalie just a little bit, tame it just a little bit. But yeah, when you're down this much, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, the invade, though, coming out. The Gromp goes over to Laxney on the Trundle. That's going to add insult to injury here for Attack Titan. He's just trying to run at this Trundle. You can see the frustration. Moby White, though, going to be forced to flash. Niwatori is going to be running away, but with Kali running over, this should just be the call for Infernal Dive to back off. However, it looks like the Dredgeline lands again onto Attack Titan. Shutdown coming out for Xayah with that pullback on the feathers, but Radiant Cord going to be taken low, and now Samira picking up her first kill of the game. Laxnit finding one as well. That should be the call for the Drake.
Another great taunt landing for Abysmal Mew here. Doggeroo forced to back off. But yeah, like you said, that will be the Drake going over to the side of New Wave and squad. And yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. They're playing to their composition. And the composition, what is it? Aggressiveness, early game fighting, early game skirmishing, early game invades off of the back of Trundle. And Ari will always have the priority in the Annie, so they never have to worry about missing mid priority. So yeah, they don't even need to play towards top side at this point. They just need to play around this Trundle, play around good Nautilus hooks, good Nautilus roam timers. And we're going to hop into a quick little replay here, but look at that. Radiant Core trying to cut away, trying to shut down Moby. Does that, but with everybody there and his support leaving the scene, nothing can be done.
Yeah, just a really good hook coming out from Moby. And granted, yeah, Radiant Core does pick up a kill with that pullback on the feathers, but it almost feels tough, right? You now are staring down the barrel of a 3-0 Trundle. Samira, granted, not like giga fed, but 1-1 and 3 feels pretty good in a lane that should be designed to neutralize her in the early game, I would think, right?
Absolutely, feels great, but this is just necessary for the side New Wave. They have to get these kind of advantages. They have to play this aggressive style, fight constantly sort of play. If they aren't, then they're falling behind, right? Like their team does not scale near as well as Infernal Dives. Infernal Dive has that way of dealing with an engage. If you can kill someone off of the back of a Nautilus hook every single time, that's huge. If you Nautilus hook a target and then you ult them and they're still not dead because Scaria is right there with the Annie ult to scare off everybody else, well, then you are losing at the end of the day.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Mulife and Doggeroo, though, going to spot each other out. Pillar comes down onto the Sejuani. She's going to try to flash away. Will use the Arctic Assault. Should be able to get out. Flash is both available for the top jungle of New Wave, but not sure they're really going to commit any further than that.
Yeah, they have no reason to. They never were going to catch her. As long as they get Doggeroo's flash out, and dash, they are sitting pretty, and they can even look towards this Rift Herald. And that's what I think is the best move at this point. Just try to get some gold onto the side of Kali and accelerate this Ari, or even just Trundle himself gets the gold. Either way, you want to be accelerating someone, right? One of your mini carries at this point in the game.
Yeah, Dredgeline landing here, though, from Moby White. Granted, he's only level 4. The Lulu is at the level 6 mark. The pullback comes through the exhaust landing as well, and Radiant Cord should be able to pick this one up. But the Stand United comes in, and now, all of a sudden, Moby White's going to fall to the pullback. Oh, I can't even cast that. Paranoia comes in, finds another one. That's 2 quick kills to Infernal Dive. Now, Kali might be caught out. Granted, Scarlet just now getting the stun up. Will find that. The flash coming out from Attack Titan as well. So it's just the flash for flash so far. Kali should be able to get out of this one for free, but unfortunate for the side of New Wave here after what seemed to be such a strong early game.
Yeah, super rough right there, and it was just a mechanical misplay from Mew, right? Tried to flash over the wall, tried to flash taunt, tried to get some lockdown done onto the Xayah, but missed up the taunt, and that was just the paranoia into clean up the kill on Niwatori. But one thing I want to highlight in the mid lane, look how much Kali had to use to get out there. Scary, it might get caught out, but as I was about to say, has barrier, has flash still.
The flash for flash there. Kali is going to get run down by Attack Titan, who is going to run away, but the spell shield has been used. The Dredgeline lands, the knock-up extension as well. Moby White, not again, man. 3 kills on the Nautilus. The kill securing God down there on the knot, but it's still another quick pickup, and now Attack Titan building into this Lethality Nocturne 1-4-1. We saw the first Paranoia used to decent effect, but still looking rough for him at this point in the game.
So when you're not ahead on Nautilus and you're going for that lethality build, then I feel like you're trolling, right? Like you just won't be relevant at any point of the game after this. You really need a sort of bruiserish build. And like we said, first turret going down at 10 minutes. They are really accelerating the pace of this game. A la G2 versus Misfits, I think it was, where G2 got like an insane gold lead, 14,000 gold by 25 minutes or something like that before they, at the end of the day, threw it all away. Something like that is what is going on here, and it's just looking so dominant from the side of New Wave.
Yeah, definitely agreeing with that. New Wave, one or two missteps here or there, but for the most part in this early game has been looking very strong, very formidable to say the least. And they're looking to extend that Hextech Drake spawning here in just about 20 seconds. Bot lane looks to be pushing in, both junglers pathing down to this. And I don't know about you, but I'm expecting to see a pretty big fight around this second Drake of the game.
Absolutely. Abysmal Mute might... No, won't have ultimate up for the Drake, so it will just be a 4v4. And this is where I want to see the Annie become useful, right? Because they don't have an engage, and the only person with an engage is Moby White in this side. So Attack Titan will be used for disengage or re-engage, right? So yeah, I really want to see how they opt to use this Annie and whether or not it is the correct pick, because there are other better picks to use as a disengaged champion or supportive mid, but Annie brings a unique mix of both damage and lockdown.
Yeah, we will have to see. Looks like we are just watching top lane. Thank you, direct to camera, for that one. As you know, there's posturing bot side. We should see the fight starting to break out now. The charm's gonna go wide. Nautilus gonna land the dredge line down onto Radiant Cord. He's gonna end up using that ultimate, but all of a sudden the paranoia comes through. Moby White's the first to fall in the fight, and now Attack Titan finds the kill onto the Samira. That's gonna make it a quick 2-for-1 down here. But Kali finds the charm down on the Scaria. Meanwhile, Laxanet just trying to deal with the Lulu, not quite able to do it. Kali getting hit by the Hextech Drake, will have to escape, and all said and done, it looks like it is a 2-for-3 in favor. Although Radiant Cord gonna just run down, Kali will find the last kill, so make it a 2-for-4, and is a huge fight win for Infernal Dive.
Honestly, realistically, I think we have to give the MVP, I don't know why that was so hard to say, of the fight to the Hextech Drake. It was hitting so many members on both sides. It just did so much damage across, but we're going to look how this fight starts. Moby White engages solo. Look how alone he is before everyone else is able to come back in. Scaria on the side picks that kill up, and then they immediately turn to deal with the polymorph Inuatori, and Radiant Cord with his ultimate bought enough time to turn for them to deal with Laxatant. Suicidal. The ultimate for Mew came down, but it was far too late, didn't do enough. And then it was just Kali alone having to deal with a 2v1, misses the charm, and he's dead on my screen.
Yeah, little unfortunate there. Mew currently getting dove under tower. Drake did go over to New Wave here, however, and the dive, I completely missed that. Doggeroo gonna find the solo kill. Not gonna die to tower either, so another pretty big shining light so far coming out for Infernal Dive. Their team fights have been pretty good. Their top laner's been pretty good, but the rest of their map plays in this early game have felt a little rough.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though they did win that last fight, they didn't get the Drake afterwards. They just weren't ready for it. They weren't ready to respond to it fast enough. And they, in the end of the day, lost it. But you're right, the Sejuani is doing a lot more work than we accounted for, right? We expected the Shin to really run through, have so much damage in the tank, as Moby White's face checking.
Yeah, he's gonna land the dredge line again here, but the paranoia coming out, it's gonna go down straight onto the Samira. Attack Titan trying to lock down this AD carry, not quite able to do it. Sua's gonna be taken low, pops the wild growth onto herself, and all of a sudden will end up falling. Samira finds the first kill. The fight has the ultimate, looking for it, will find 1, 2, 3 kills down in that bot lane fight, and it is another massive fight coming out for the side of New Wave.
Both sides are just fighting, and that one's more of an idea of, okay, but what's that fight for, right? Like, what are we fighting for there? We just kind of fought because we face checked and we had the opportunity to. We didn't get any turrets off that. We weren't playing for any turrets. We weren't even playing for vision realistically. So it was just a fight to fight, which, you know, isn't too bad at the end of the day. I like it, but, you know, what do you get out of it? Triple kill for Samir. It does feel pretty nice though. And one thing I want to highlight is that the Nocturne opted away from the lethality build and has now bought Stridebaker, sold the Dirk, and I like that.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate your kind of understanding more of your role this game. You're going to act as disruption. You're just trying to stay alive, be a nuisance, less than the one shot that was
Mhm.
initially anticipated. But it does feel a little bad to build the Dirk and then sell it later, right? Um,
Oh, it's horrible.
Definitely less than ideal there. Second Rift Herald has now spawned. Arctic Assault down on to the Trundle, but Doggeroo in the middle of two people probably doesn't want to be here. And the taunt lands down onto two as well from Mew. Attack Titan going to be taken low, should be
There.
taken down, actually running away, and the blue smite gets spell shielded, but here comes the Sand United. Niwatori meanwhile on the bot side trying to fight in the 1v2 will end up going down under tower, but who cares? There have been 3 kills up in the top side for New Wave. Second Herald should be theirs.
Oh, it is absolutely 100% truly theirs. And, it feels good to get that dive down onto a vulnerable Samira. Very nice. Sucks that the support picks it up, especially when Radiant Cord was looking for the massive pullback with so many feathers. But at the end of the day, a kill is a kill, and you get that turret. Try to equal up, slice the turret score. Try to get some gold back in your team's pocket, especially after losing such a massive fight off of the back of such a great taunt from Mew. Hit the multi-man taunt.
Paranoia
And
down into mid,
ooh,
and now it's going to force the flash out of Kali. The charm lands, though, so, oh, that was dirty, Kali. Finding the kill. Trundle there just to smack a little bit, but beautiful charm to negate the duration of that fear.
yeah, absolutely wonderful charm. Monster charm there. Saved Kali's life, in fact. And, Attack Titan was waiting for that charm to come out. Thought it would be used a little bit later and just was holding on to that spell shield. Just not enough at the end of the day. And right now, it's just two things in combination that are going for New Wave. Right now, generally across the board, they are out CSing their opponents. Mid jungle, like I said, the one that we need to look at, the most important lanes in this game, they're doing their job. They're both ahead of their opponents at this point in the game. Nautilus, I'd say, is ahead of the Lulu. So much more gold on the Nautilus than it is on the Lulu, and is putting it to work. Doggeroo getting potentially caught out here.
Yeah, Laxanet looking to just run down the Sejuani. No flash available for this top laner, but will end up being stunned up by the permafrost. Glacial Person still available and will be used. Laxanet trying to just keep running at this champion. Arctic Assault popped forward, subjugating, going to go down onto the Sejuani. Now Niwatori is here, but don't think there's going to be too much more. They're looking to push on this turret, have the Herald available. Doggeroo finally going to lose a little bit of damage on that top tier 1. 3 members up here, though. Looks to be the dive call potentially coming out from Moby. But there's no wave. The ultimate comes through. Niwatori's the one tanking. The hook doesn't land. Laxanet, this dive goes from bad to worse. Mew gonna be taken low, gonna be ignited up. Ultimate coming out as well from Scaria. Attack Titan finds his 5th kill of the game on the Nocturne. And with that poor dive coming out, it does give over the kill to Infernal Dive. They get priority on the Drake. The Blade Caller lands on a Kali. Doesn't look like there's gonna be too much more off of that. But first Drake or Infernal Dive here.
Yeah, forces the dash out from Kali too, a huge tool that they can no longer use. But look at that, Laxanet looking for the flank. But at the end of the day, he will just regroup with his team. Nothing to worry about. And one thing I want to highlight, that dive was so... wasn't thought out enough. They didn't have the ultimate, or sorry, the wave, right?
This
and they
is
didn't have the Trundle
so
ultimate, but look at that.
weird. Trundle popping the tier 3 inhibitor with that Rift Herald, looking to push down for the inhibitor itself. Exhaust and the Paranoia both burned onto the Trundle, but the charge lands regardless. So yeah, you pick up the kill. You lose your T3 and half your inhibitor. That's tough for sure for Infernal Dive this early.
That's well, I wouldn't say it's too bad. I feel like if they had actually cracked that inhibitor, I actually would have given that play over to Infernal Dive. I feel it's way worse to lose the tier 1 than it is to lose the inhibitor at the floor, and they're dead.
Oh, maybe not actually. Nope. Okay.
Didn't have the ultimate.
There were some callouts that could have been made there, but like lots of damage. Both these mid laners do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they do both do a surprising amount of damage, but Scary didn't have the ultimate. If they had Tibbers there, I think they 100% truly won that, or at least traded even, correct? But yeah, Kali gets the face check. And like I said, I think it's way worse to lose your tier 3, of course, and then, it's bad to lose your inhibitor, but if you just lost your inhibitor there, you can recoup so much more of that gold, right? As the super waves come in, you just grab that up onto Radiant Cord, and you guys are just sitting pretty as he collects so much value in that mid lane. Especially before 20 minutes, before Baron is even a threat. I feel like if they had taken that inhibitor, would have been a huge macro blunder, but they didn't. Thankfully, the Rift Herald was killed for the side of New Wave. So You know, even despite all that's been happening, they're only 1,000 gold ahead, and I just have to wonder how that happened.
Yeah, definitely a little interesting to see. I think looking at this game, I mean, you can see the gold graph on your screen now. It's been all over the place. This has been a wild game. Charm is going to go wide, though. The Everfrost also going to miss. Featherstorm has been popped, but the Paranoia goes down onto the R2. Got caught by the Blade Caller, and Doggeroo just running at him. But that is a double kill for Attack Titan. The Glacial Prison lands onto Mew as well, and all of a sudden, 3 quick kills for Infernal Dive. They're going to set their sights on the Baron.
Yep, and just like that, the game is absolutely opened up, and they can do nothing about it from the side of New Wave. And they were playing so well early. They had so many good plays. They had such a smart idea about their comp. They were playing it correctly, but just individual mistakes in the side lanes, individual mistakes in the top lanes, individual misplays when it came to team fighting and diving and all that, etc.
Oh.
It's just so rough. I don't think Moby or Neotori.
Oh, they know the steal is not going to come through, and now all of a sudden Samir Nautilus not in the best of spots. Looks like Scariot and Subu know all the move speed buffs on to this Annie, but she turns back. The stutter step might be enough to dissuade anything further. Neotori will be able to walk away, and 5 members of Infernal Dive midside, but I'm interested to see. We were going to go to a replay before this happened. The Charm lands onto the Lulu. Suwa going to be taken low. Neotori's going to have to flash away from Attack Titan, but the slow comes down the Paranoia as well. The Stride Breaker on top of it, and Attack Titan finds the kill onto the lone Samir. Meanwhile, the barrier being popped down onto the Annie. The Wild Growth onto the Lulu as well. Doggeroo going to just take down Moby White. Radiant Cord flashing away, gets the pullback, does not find a root, but will dissuade any further fighting. Mew nowhere to go. Will end up falling, more than likely, with that last W. Doggeroo, nope, I'm gonna flash to get it. But Charm goes wide. Laxinate and Attack Titan still skirmishing. Another special comes down, and Laxinate's gonna fall. Double kill for Doggeroo. And now all of a sudden, Infernal Dive has just completely taken control of this game.
Yeah, right here, I think it's just Infernal Dive's, better drafting right here. This is just all off the back of such a well thought out draft. They hit this point of the game where they wanted to really fight, where they wanted to group, and they're playing it correctly. Like I said, they're just letting Scariot honestly just tank the brunt of Moby White's engages. They just play off of those engages and turn it around completely on the side of New Wave. And now I think New Wave is a little bit out of the picture here. So Kali goes in, misses the Charm. That's a huge cooldown down. Misses Everfrost on the Radiant, forces out the ultimate. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. But here's the crucial part. Multi-man root right there. Everyone just gets dogpiled off of that, and you can't do anything at the end of the day. Then they just immediately chain CC Mew. Look, don't even go past Neotori, and I think there's another fight. Oh!
Yeah, we missed it a little bit, but Attack Titan gets caught out in his own jungle, will be taken down, so that's one Baron off the table. Doggeroo gonna be taken a little bit of CC here, but Moby White trying to just dissuade with that ultimate will end up getting that one. The Glacial Prison rather lands onto Kali. The Featherstorm comes through, but is taunted, but it does not matter. Radiant Cord finds the pullback on that Blade Caller regardless, and it's 2 for 1 after Attack Titan had fallen early.
That was a very good play. They went way too deep as
the
they
Dredge
keep
line
going for
misses
it.
The flash from Annie. Radiant Cord finds one. Scariot finds the second, and Infernal Dive will find their second Infernal Drake of this game. Laxinate, don't think you want to look for this steal, bud.
He definitely can. Too early.
Why?
Didn't even drop the ultimate to try and get some of those stats back. Didn't even try to smite the Drake, and Laxinate, bud, not the move there at all. And right now, I just want to say it's just New Wave. When you miss Moby White's hook, when you go too aggressive on a team that you no longer have the gold advantage into, you're always going to lose at the end of the day. So 7,000 gold lead on the side of Infernal Dive, and we can only expect that to grow over the next few minutes, waiting for the next Drake or Baron to spawn. 2 minutes on the next Baron, 4 minutes roughly on the Drake. And yeah, it is not looking good.
I mean, we saw this same gold graph not even, 5 minutes ago just about, and it looked like, New Wave was just completely dominating the game. They had that one misstep, which led to that earlier Infernal Dive gold lead, but all of a sudden, Infernal Dive just said it's not relevant. Charm lands on to Suwu, who will pop the Shurelya's, pops the Wild Growth as well, has the Flash and the Ignite available. Paranoia being popped down onto the Ahri, though. Kali going to be taken low, going to be feared up, will be taken down. Attack Titan finds that. Mew is in the area, but too little too late, and it's another 2 kills coming out for Infernal Dive. It's just getting from bad to worse for New Wave here.
It really is. It really is, and it doesn't look pretty. It's not being played pretty at the slightest. I think they had such a smart idea playing around their comp like they did, and for them just to drop the ball, it just hurts, you know, to see a little bit. And yeah, with that, they're going to lose their inhibitor, maybe even more, because their bot lane still hasn't recalled. They have 3 members inside the enemy base, and what can Trundle really do alone?
Gosh.
Samira still hasn't backed yet.
Yeah,
just
Low
now starting the recall.
Looking for the objective bounties, but Attack Titan will just be tanking up this turret. Doggeroo finds the kill, rather, was the one tanking. Moby White, though, gonna find the kill. No, will not quite. But Niwatori dives in, has the ultimate ready, but is CC'd through it all. Will end up falling. It's a 5-for-1 in the base. Lulu nowhere nearby, but it does not matter. Infernal Dive convincingly turned this game around and will take game 1 of this series.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. They were down 1,000 gold, 2,000 at its peak, 2,500 I do believe at its peak from New Wave, and Infernal just managed to bring that around off of a few misplays from the side of New Wave vibes. I will have to say that they're misplays because, you know, Kali going in and missing that charm just led to the end of the road for them, right? You know, they just turned that around off of that charm, and everything went Infernal Drive's way from that point on.
Yeah, definitely did not go as well as I think New Wave would have wanted to after that early game. I know, talking with Moby before, I mentioned this earlier on in the broadcast as well, he said they were really happy with how they were playing throughout these first few games of the season. I think we saw a lot of that in the early game. They looked strong. They looked like really, really cohesive as a team, as a unit. And then 1 or 2 missed hooks, 1 or 2 missed plays, 1 or 2... just random catches, it felt like, and it all just started to fall apart.
Yeah, it's just individual, you know, micro missteps, which is really what happened to them, and then compound those with the macro mistakes that they were making, and it just quickly turns into a snowball for the side of Infernal Dive. I do believe, you know, Infernal Dive were really sweating bullets at the start of it. They were really, you know, they were like, guys, we're throwing a little bit, guys. You know, we're throwing. But, you know, like I said, New Wave Vice just got too trigger tappy, thinking they were much further ahead than they really were, and trying to make a play off of Kali on the Ahri just messed up that one charm, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that is the case for sure. But convincing turnaround from Infernal Dive in this first game of the series. We will be right back after a short break to see if New Wave can turn this back around and take us to that game 3. You're not going to want to miss this. Game 1 was insane. Game 2 promises to be just as nuts. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back, everybody, to the beginning of Game 2 between Infernal Dive and New Wave Vice. New Wave coming out looking hot, looking spicy, and then Infernal Dive just completely taking over the game on one missed position. Arlen, what do you think needs to change going into Game 2 if you are on the side of New Wave?
So if you're new wave, what we're doing is we're breaking down our aggression. I really loved our aggression. I really thought it was well placed in the early game, but in the mid game, it was all over. It was haphazard. It was all over the place, and it was not put into the right goals. I think if you're new wave here, you keep that early aggression, you keep that early aggressive playstyle, but you throw in a few more caveats for your late game scaling, so it's not so cut and dry, right? You really want to play towards more of a mid-game spike, right? If you go too far early, then once you, like I said, once you make that one mistake, you will fall off pretty heavily. So in their drafting, at least, I want to see a shift to that more mid-game kind of power spikes. And in terms of gameplay, I loved it. Like I said, early game, really played hard. I'd say probably try to draft a better lane for your top laner, something where he can really feel comfortable, where he can really dominate in. Everywhere else, I think, needs no such reassurances. I feel like the rest of the map were able to play out their lanes relatively well. And yeah, keep Moby White on that Nautilus, keep it on that engage. I think he did very well on that. You just, like I said, just temper the aggression a little bit and start really strategically planning for the fights that you want to take.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. I think their early game was really strong, looked really strong as well. Teams have swapped sides going into Game 2. New Wave Vice has selected red side. They will be banning away the Jinx. Zeri, we did mention, mysteriously fell through the pick ban last game. Was not expecting to see that one, or to not see that one, I guess. We'll have to see, though. Infernal Dive with their first pick could opt into it. Shock us both a little bit. Not too sure where they're going to look. Xin Zhao left available this time, though, and they will lock that one in.
I don't know about showing so much information so early on, especially when Aphelios, like we said, Caitlyn are still up. Zeri, as well as an ADC, still up. Showing so much information is a rough spot to put yourself in there for Infernal Dive, but it can definitely work out if you use the information that you're getting from the enemy correctly. When they choose to probably counterpick your Xin Zhao here, maybe the Trundle coming out, maybe Hecarim as well. J4 is always a decent option.
Oh,
and I wonder what that pick was.
Well, I'm assuming that pick would have been the Kai'Sa, and they'll be locking something in different here. Well, no pick is Kai'Sa.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, it's Kai'Sa. So the no pick is Kai'Sa. We'll see what the Kai'Sa is going to turn into. They got a few seconds left on that. Maybe they just lock in the Kai'Sa and then tell us the no pick is something else. No, they're going to do Kai'Sa, and Graves looks to be the answer. Ooh. Another flex pick. Don't expect to see me play it. He is role swapping from support up to top, but decent jungler right now.
Very decent. I think he's fine into Xin Zhao. It's really more on the Graves outplaying the Xin Zhao than is the Xin Zhao outplaying the Graves. I feel like Xin Zhao can win the matchup, but like I said, it's purely on how good this Graves can play and pilot the champion, right? But this is playing a different style than we saw from Infernal Dive, which I like. Last time they played more of a late game scaling team comp, but now they're playing more of a early mid aggressive skirmishing style, especially with the Karma getting picked up here. They can definitely play that Karma Xin Zhao, a scary, nasty combo, and if they pick up the Xayah here, that means they want to play away from the Xayah, let her scale in the bot lane alone, and you play everywhere else on the map except bot lane here. So, like we said, very nasty combo. Sends out Karma getting picked up in all blue 1 and 2.
Yeah, once again, the no pick is Kai'Sa, so we are anticipating the matchup in the bottom lane to be Xayah Kai'Sa. I'm interested to see your thought on this. I'm a huge fan of the AP Kai'Sa. Okay, not when you're running Ahri, but I'm normally a huge fan of the AP Kai'Sa build. I think especially when you're against things like the Xin Zhao, like the Xayah, tends to do extremely well. Still could come out. You still have the Graves for that AD damage, but I'm not sure. And as someone who like plays a lot of Kai'Sa, I'm not sure you really want to blind pick her on R1. It's rough.
Yeah, I don't think she's that strong of an AD carry that you can blind pick her. Like most short range AD carries, I feel have to be pick specifically with either with certain characters or against certain characters. Samira, Kaisa, Zeri even kind of falls into that category. Tristana as well. Lucian most definitely, and yeah, there are definitely just safer options that exist, but we might see the AP build come out. I wouldn't mind that. I think it can do work here. I think the poke factor uh, is something that New Wave Vice would love. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think AD is definitely the better option.
I mean, I'm just biased because Crown is ridiculously strong on her, especially when you're looking across the board and you see things like Xin Zhao. Like, when things want to dive on you, tends to be a good option. Sion looks to be the lock-in, though, for the top lane, so that should lock this Graves into the jungle role. I highly doubt we're seeing, like, an Ahri support and a Graves mid. I guess there's a chance, but should be Sion top, Graves jungle, Ahri Kaisa, so they're leaving counterpick for Moby in the support role.
I feel like you don't necessarily need to do that, right? I feel like you already know that the Karma's going support, so you just line, or I say quote unquote blind pick your support. You just pick to counter pick the Karma, right? You just pick the Lulu up, and that's more than enough into the Karma. Janna as well still open, and like that's just how you play. Oh, Lulu is banned. My fault. But Janna is still open. I feel like that is just how you play it. Blind picking a Scion here, you gave them counterpick for mid, you gave them counterpick for top, and now realistically, what are you counterpicking except a support that you've known since Blue 2, right? So I feel like it's really big draft from New Wave, and yep, we're gonna get that Soraka in the top lane. And I mean, what can Sion really do to touch her? Nothing. Soraka just hits level 16 and it's GG.
Can we find a new caster for this game? I hate Enchanter tops. It's so bland. Galio looks to be the hover. It's going to be locked in. Cool. Whatever. Galio exists. Champion for support. Cool. Enchanter tops. Yeah.
They work. They work.
Trust me, I'm unfortunately all too aware that they work. We'll have to see. I'm interested to see. Technically, it can be either Soraka or Karma. I would hope that they put the Soraka top and don't put Soraka into Galio. That does not sound fun at all. But Soraka and Sion sounds extremely playable and extremely free, so.
Yeah, Soraka and the Sion is just honestly the freest lane in the world for the Soraka. She just kind of queues him on repeat and doesn't have to worry about dying until level 6, and even then, she'll have her own level 6. So, yep, like we said, I think Infernal Dive just hard outdrafted New Wave Vice here, but at the end of the day, it comes down to your gameplay and whether or not you can pilot the champions, pilot the game plan that was drafted for you. And right now, Infernal Dive, they want to play around this Xin Zhao, they want to play around those Karma, they want to play down this mid lane. Xayah, Soraka just kind of sit top and bot and do nothing until they scale up, and then all of a sudden they're monsters with 300 CS at 22 minutes. New Wave Vice, you know, you want to play for this Ahri getting picks, you want to play for Sion roams, Galio roams rather, and Graves really getting aggressive and really fighting. They don't have a great Galio delivery system. It's really more of a disengage tool, but that can definitely work into Xin Zhao here. So right now this draft is a little bit split for me, but I think I have to give the edge to Infernal Dive.
Yeah, I think I definitely am agreeing with you here. I don't know. I'm hoping it's not going to be like the Smite Soraka top nonsense that hasn't really been... It's not like super great. Obviously, they did nerf it. Riot did nerf it pretty substantially, but I know people that still play it. It's still disgusting. Please don't. Like, I'd rather just see your farming, like, boring Soraka top where you're gonna go, like, exhaust flash and just sit there and thwack away at a Sion. Understand that you're not looking to side lane against him ever, right? I don't know how to talk about this. Soraka top's so boring.
It's great gameplay. It's great LS style, Church of LS gameplay. I don't know what else you want me to say, you know. It's time to go to church, you know. Infernal Dive, bringing the righteous hammer of LS against the infidels.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't necessarily argue with you on this front. The LS special of running, what was it, like 2 enchant? He was running Ivern mid that one time. Which
2 enchanters.
Thankfully, we won't see Ivern mid because apparently that breaks the spectator client, so I've been told. Just Ivern in general, allegedly.
Very nice.
Hey man, they fixed the Vel'Koz bug. That's a W. Yeah,
Well, we don't see too much of either of those guys, so not
thankfully.
too bad, but yeah, kind of sucks. I
Every
like
now
it.
and then, you get that one Vel'Koz one trick who's like, ah,
You know, I face too many Vel'Koz one tricks. It's not fun. Too much true damage, dude.
yeah, I definitely agree. I think Vel'Koz is definitely a scary champ when people are good at the champ. Thankfully, we don't have to deal with that tonight. We just have to deal with Soraka top. And another Annie-Ari matchup mid, which I have never seen before tonight, and now I'm seeing for the second time tonight. I mean, we've talked about the mid matchup before, but this time around, top lane matchup we touched a little bit upon during the draft. This jungle matchup intrigues me. You mentioned it's more on Graves to outplay Xin than the other way around. Why is that? Where do you think this matchup really is gonna flip one way or the other?
So number one, since I was, you know, like everyone knows, since I was an easier champion to pilot than the Graves, right? Well, that's like a no contest, no brainer. Um, so number one, that's why I say that. But number two, it's really on the Graves to go into a fight that he takes with Zinzao with high grit stacks, which is a hard thing to keep up. Even Graves mains will tell you that keeping high grit stacks while you're farming jungle is relatively a rough thing to do, and still look for ganks. So high grit stacks going into a fight, able to hold his E to dodge out Zinzao's W. If he can dash away from that, you know, when it becomes lightning, I think it's called, he won't have as big range as his dash, so very nice thing to dodge out, and it heals Zinzao for a pretty penny. So dodge away from that, and lastly, use your smoke screen offensively and not so much defensively. If you're using it to really chase down Zinzao, it can definitely do some work, and that will be the karma with Ignite top and
Yeah.
Baraka going into Galio.
I mean, you can still flex things around. Like, there's a chance, and again, I don't recommend this. There's a chance it's like Annie support, Soraka mid. I mean, we see the Annie locked in mid. I'm assuming it's the Annie-Ari matchup mid for starters, but they can still swap. They have until about the 20-second mark after all 10 champions are locked in to trade around picks. So, yeah, for now, it's Karma top. I think we talked about this. Not a huge fan of it. You still like will be able to live, but it's a little more rough for the Galio now. Or into the Galio, I should say, for Soraka.
Yeah. So the thing with Karma is I think both of them poke out Galio about equally. Karma and Soraka, they both poke out the Galio about equally in my opinion. But the one thing that Karma has over the Soraka is the ability to play the fight out past just Galio Wing in, taunting you up, knocking you up, and hurting you. The Soraka really just has to drop a silence and Q and run away. This Karma, on the other hand, can Mantra W, heal up some of that damage, play the fight off of the root, look for shields, and really play around Radiant Cord. So yeah, they have now New Way of Ice has a really huge opportunity here to really play out the fight how they want in the bot side, but in the top side, it's going to be so much worse. I think Galio, or Sion rather, will find it so much harder to play into a Karma who can root on command, shield on command, and this is something that can contest the Sion later into the game. Soraka, once it hits around level 6, I don't think can really contest Sion, but Karma can build and can play to contest Sion as we go further into the game.
All right, fair enough. My last few questions are going to be towards a specific item that did get nerfed on this patch. Granted, only nerfed for ranged users, so no more ranged champions using it. Looking at you, Jace. Looking at you, Graves. I wouldn't want to see it on a jungler anyway, but Hullbreaker is still going to be the pick for Sion, you think? Especially into something as low damage as the Karma. What are you expecting for a build path up in the top side?
I don't think Hullbreaker is the move for him because I just don't think it gives him the necessary stats to effectively push Doggeroo out of lane. Really, when you buy the Hullbreaker, you want to use the effectiveness of the stats to push someone out of lane, to really take control and dominate the lane. I feel like if you just rush your Mythic here and you group with your team, because like I said, you're the only way that Galio gets delivered into a fight offensively. You're never, if you're ulting defensively with a Galio ultimate, you're going to find yourself in a rough scenario, right? Why pick the Galio in the first place? So Astral Mew, or Abysmal Mew rather, will be the only person offensively for the Galio to ult. So yeah, I don't think Hullbreaker is the move here. It definitely can work, especially if Doggeroo starts inting early on and Mew gets a huge advantage. But if he doesn't do that, it's just better to go pure tank, pure Sion Bruiser madness.
All right, like to hear that coming out. I hate hull breakers, so I'm always cool to see that. We don't want to see it in a game. Love hearing that, but we will see if that's going to come true in game 2. New Wave Vice backs against the wall, looking to get their first series win tonight, and they need to win game number 2 to force us to game 3 to try and get to that point. Infernal Dive looking to get into second place for themselves. We're going to see how it's going to pan out. Game 2 coming up right after this break. Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 between New Wave Vice and Infernal Dive. New Wave coming out of the gates hot in game number 1, but game 2 didn't quite, or sorry, towards the end of game number 1 started to kind of falter a little bit. Game 2, once again, trying out the fancy little invade, and they might have actually just gotten Attack Titan caught a little bit out of position. He's going to have to walk through that mid turret, and now it looks like New Wave knows what's up.
Yeah, Kali known to start the charm. Level 1 does not mind it at all. He's
Does have
juking
it.
himself, I feel like.
Charm will come through, does land Scary. It does use that Disintegrate just to do a little bit of damage, but yeah, you mentioned it, just a little too far away. Held it for potentially a little too long.
Yeah, I feel like Attack Titan was juking himself out there when he was next to the wall. I feel toss that charm out and just let him walk into it, and you'll profit very handsomely. But at the end of the day, nothing was blown, nothing was lost this time, and New Wave Vice did not find themselves that early game advantage that we saw in the last game, and everything is back to stage 1.
Oh my gosh, and Kali just getting auto traded down. A buff that kind of went under the radar a long time ago. Annie getting some extra attack range on her auto attacks. I thought it was going to be big for her support return. Didn't end up happening. It's tough, but we're kind of seeing that come through. I believe her attack range is slightly longer than Ari's, so just auto trading down Kali at the early levels, forcing that corrupting pot early. It is definitely a tough like early 2-3 levels for Kali, especially after starting that charm.
Yeah, I think it's 650 or so on the Annie. She can really play those long ranges with her autos, and it's very nice. Like you said, I do favor more of a supportive build on Annie whenever I do play Annie. I think Kimtech Purifier, or Putrifier rather, or is it Purifier? Either way,
Putrifier,
it's a very
yeah.
OP item on her, and double two-man taunt, but nothing comes of it. But I think it is a great underrated item on Annie, and it is the best, what do you call it, grievous wounds item that you can buy on her, considering how bad Morello's is in terms of stats generally.
Well, yeah, and especially after the change that made her E like target allies as well. Pretty big, I would say, to add on to that point of Putrifier being pretty effective. Mew getting taken kind of low up in the top side already. Laxnet will be hovering there, but it's going to be the two-man taunt landing. The exhaust instantly burned from Radiant, followed with another exhaust coming out from Moby. The feathers are going to be pulled back through Moby White, and Niwatori is going to have to run away. Doggeroo just abusing Mew life up in the top side. The stun coming down as well. Disintegrate does a decent chunk of damage, but Laxnite finds Attack Titan here. Will just try to dive in, try to fight. Will flash away. Both smites being burned. The blue buff, though, is under threat. Radiant Cord going to be looking down to Moby White, but Laxnite smites. Oh, fails the flash.
Oh, no!
And that will be first blood for Scariot. A big pickup for this Annie. Moby White taken extremely low here as well. Siwu looking for something spicy. Has the flash, has the ignite. Not something I see a ton on the Soraka, but we'll just be looking for those Qs. Try and poke down this lane a little more.
Yeah, I mean, when you have such an aggressive winning lane like this for Suwu and Radiant Cord, you can definitely take this ignite poke, Soraka rather, all the way to the top. And we just saw right there why Graves needs to really have games on the champion to really outplay this. Had no mid priority, couldn't make that invade work. I think just forcing the flash out from Attack Titan was enough, honestly. I feel like forcing any more than that, as Suwu's forced to flash, the taunt lands.
Taunt comes through. Suwu's going to be taken down. Moby picks up the kill. It's game one all over again. Moby White taking the 1-for-1 down bot, but Radiant Cord picks up the kill for the side of Infernal Dive, and I think they're more than happy with the 1-for-1 there.
Especially with the 1-for-1, again, getting picked up by the support, and Moby White, and right there, look who picked up the kill for the side of Infernal Dive. It's gonna be the Zaya as the Attack Titan.
Oh,
He's just standing there autoing.
Gonna get hit with the 3-talon strike, but the Void Seeker will go wide. Kali's gonna get stunned up here by the Q. Takes a decent chunk of damage, but the charm comes through. Attack Titan not gonna fall to the Orb of Deception. And now Laxinate trying to run in, but the wind becomes lightning, lands. The Audacious Charge as well. It's a double kill for Scariot. And now Niwatori trying to turn something back. Winds of War not gonna find too much for Moby. Oh, the Void Seeker lands, but it's not enough. Annie walks out by the skin of her teeth and is now 3-0 on the LS special.
Yep. The Annie absolutely doing mad work here. And it's honestly, you know, like last time it was Kali who had all the priority in the world for, you know, Laxatant to play super aggressive, super in the face of the Xin Zhao. But now all the priority is going over to Scary. I wonder what happened. I'm not quite sure what the change was. Maybe it was just, you know, they finally figured out how to play against each other, finally figured out the matchup, and now Scary is just able to flex their muscle, flex their might on this Annie, and they're just taking this game completely over everywhere, it looks like, and it's going to be a gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Direct to camera, still really liking bot, so nothing must happen mid, unfortunately. But definitely an extremely strong showing after what was a weak early game, I would say, in game one from Infernal Dive. And they come into this group as arguably the lowest ranked team, I believe. They were the pool 3 team to come into group B, and they're taking it by storm. Justice Punch lands into this Soraka, she's going to be taken low, but the flash forward from Niwatori will not find much. Attack Titan going to be taken low, should be taken down. Niwatori finds that, and the Drake secured by Ari of all people. It's 2 kills, 2 for 2 so far in the fight. Sue going to be taken low. Orb of Deception not going to land, but it's now a double kill for the Xayah. Pullback should be available soon.
So much mana?
Triple kill there, but Kali has nothing. The charm lands. Orb of Deception not available, but the pullback doesn't land. It's an auto trade for Kali, finding the 3rd kill of the game for themselves on the Ari. Massive fight coming out for New Wave Vice. Now Doggeroo just running down Mew does have the unstoppable force, or unstoppable onslaught rather, and will just be able to walk away without burning that. But oh my lord, what a fight at the Drake.
Absolutely massive for the side of New Wave Vice, and right there it was Infernal Dive overplaying their hand, misplaying around the Drake, starting it up far too early, and with no, like I said, no proper priority. So Asir here, we'll see Suicidal getting so dangerously low right there, and that is going to be Radiant Core on the side. But look how long Attack Titan lives, but at the end of the day, 55 HP, and it gets picked up by the auto attack. I saw Scarlet trying to flash there, doesn't get it out, and they're able to corral them here, and it gets so dangerously close. And that's why it could have been a winning play from the side of New Wave Vice. But right here, so smart to hold your last dash until after the exhaust comes out. And a very nice charm with the last year mana. Just last auto attack, dodges away from, realizes how close it is, and gets picked up by Kali there. So very, very nice.
Yeah, that fight just dancing on a knife's edge throughout the entirety of it. Very, very big. And New Wave, I think, definitely needing that after how this early game's been playing out. Game 1 had a nuts early game. Kali finds the dash in, finds the charm. Oh my gosh, dodges out from the Tibbers with the Spirit Rush. Kali with the outplay in mid, and a big solo kill there for New Wave.
That was absolutely beautiful. Scary. It missed the Tipper stun, thought they were a lot closer, and it was just Kali, like we said, dancing on a knife's edge, absolutely outplaying in that. Look at that. It's going to be Doggeroo getting ganked in the mid lane. No way out for them, but they're healing through it. They have so many shields. They have so many heals.
Doggeroo going to be taken low, but here comes Attack Titan.
It is!
Collateral damage used, and a beautiful insect coming out from Attack Titan. Will not find too much, but the wish comes through. Should be 2 kills going over. Doggeroo going to be taken low. Attack Titan falls. Actually goes a little too deep, and now Laxinate trying to maybe look at this Karma, but does have the ultimate available. Might look for the turn with the chains. Will end up doing so. Should be able to find this one with the auto attacks. The red smite just a little too late, and Doggeroo finding the kill onto the opposing jungler.
Absolutely nice. Well played from Doggeroo. I thought he was 100% dead, but once their burst damage comes out, once their CC comes through, Abysmal move, and Laxinate had nothing else to offer them right there. And that was really well played from Attack Titan, getting up there. Beautiful insect. I think you overplayed your hand by trying to dive that. Should have just waited for the wave. Wait for Doggeroo to really have, you know, summoner spells and abilities to engage with that. But still, at the end of the day, it is Doggeroo coming out on top, not even having to waste flash or teleport, and just absolutely dominating the Scion. But look at what the Scion's building. It's going to be the whole breaker here. So he's not really looking to group with his team, which I think is a huge misplay. I think you want to be with your team here as much as possible. They just aren't strong enough without you. Moby White isn't big enough as a tank, and oh no, Laxinate goes in solo.
Yeah, gonna have to dash over. Spirit Rush has been popped. Charm goes wide though. Scariot not with a stun, so don't think too much of a fight should break out here. But Herald is picked up by Infernal Dive, and they're probably gonna look to try and accelerate their early game just a little more with that one.
Absolutely. As look at that, Laxinate kind of alone, gets slowed up, forced out of this area. Very, very nice control over this Drake. And like I said, just look at the priority. Look at what Scariot is able to do. Absolutely more than okay with stacking waves, really playing towards the team, whereas Kali is really playing for that lane dominance. And I think that's just the differences in style here. One's willing to give up, one is willing to be selfish and demands the team plays around them. I mean, when you're 4-1 on the Ari, I would also demand my team plays around me.
Yeah, but even just taking a quick look at the gold, Kali easily in the lead there. Taunt's going to land down in the bot side. Don't think too much will come of that, but Kali significantly ahead of really anyone else in the game, sitting about 1,000 gold in the lead there. Radiant Cord and Attack Titan both sitting pretty there, but it's all funneled into this Ari right now. So you mentioned the lane dominance, and it's worked out for Kali in particular, but yeah, I think Scariot just playing so well around the rest of their team.
Oh, absolutely. I think when you have so many champions who love to buff up other champions
Oh.
and pray for the Zinzao as Suicidal getting caught out here potentially.
Yeah, Voidseeker gonna land, dash in from
There's the
Neotori
witch!
as well, but oh my gosh, the Tibbers does so much damage. Laxnet gonna be taken low, should be falling, actually will be able to walk away. Moby White gonna be the only one to fall so far in this fight. Attack Titan, no flash, so should not be going forward. And Kali does teleport in, has just ticked over to level 10, but this should be the Ocean Drake to Infernal Dive. They're gonna find their first Drake of the game.
Look how much the Wish is doing, and that is why people pick Soraka. Even when you were losing that fight, you were no longer losing the fight in an instant. Suicidal, everyone thought they were caught out there, and they didn't think they were caught out. So absolutely beautiful stuff. And one thing I do think is a misplay is no one else was there to collect that gold from the Rift Herald play. I think Radiant Cord or Scariot would love that as the charm lands in the mid lane, and Scariot only has the barrier to really defend themselves. Tibber is just expired.
Yeah, and a big thing. Oh, there's... well, we're going to talk about that in a second. Laxnet and Attack Titan spotting each other out here. Red Smite coming through, but the Charm Flash lands as well, and a beautiful Orb of Deception to finalize the kill. Moby White, however, going to pick up the kill down onto Suwu in the bot side. Radiant Cord going to be taking this Kaisa super low. No ult, no heal, no way to live. And Moby White goes down as well. The 1v2 outplay for Radiant Cord, and it's another really solid 2v2 coming out for Infernal Dive in the bottom side. Although... turret will end up falling. Laxnet's here. Zaya's dead.
Yeah, 100% more than likely. Zaya.
Smoke screen?
Oh, using the Gale Force, but he's going to flash and collect that. I don't think the flash is necessary, but maybe he just hadn't damaged him in enough time. Regardless, the Hullbreaker finally complete for Mew. And now he is just looking to tank up all the damage from Doggeroo. Doggeroo does not care, though, at all.
Yeah, just gonna land those chains, root up the Scion here. Mew taken kind of low, but yeah, still Hullbreaker, still gives you a ton of resistances, and shouldn't really be at threat of dying any further in this lane, outside of potentially Xin showing, but even then, like, Hullbreaker is just a dumb item. I tried not to say that type of stuff on broadcast, but this item just gives, I think, the number I heard was somewhere around 200% stat efficiency when you are isolated, which is just ridiculous, or gold efficiency, but
I've heard anywhere from, I've heard anywhere, and I think it's a scaling number, because like I said, anywhere from 120 to,
okay, Attack Titan pops the Blast Cone with the flash, but Moby White might be able to run anyway. Does buffer the Tibbers. Absolutely gorgeous. Everfrost comes through, roots up too. Kali just trying to make sure that their support gets out alive. And Attack Titan with a smart flash, but unfortunately does not get anything as a result of it. Scariot going to be taking the charm lands. The Witch comes through, but it's not enough. Kali finding the kill. 6-1-1 on the Ahri. Featherstorm going to be popped. Blade Caller as well. Roots 0. Suwu going to be taking low. Charm goes wide. Laxnet going to find the kill with the collateral damage. Attack Titan jumps in, has issued the ultimate, and now all of a sudden it's Neotori versus Attack Titan, but now we see that should be it. Nothing further there. And it's overall 2-for-1 in favor of New Wave Vice. Turret gonna be taking a little bit of damage. Attack Titan lands everything, though. Gonna be going in, but going to be taken down. Neotori finds the kill under the tower. So overall, it's now a 1-for-3. Taunt gonna be channeled. Radiant Cord gonna be taunted up. Neotori trying to do something. Finds a little more, but will find the kill off of the charm from Kali. Make it 4 kills for New Wave Vice. They're gonna get the T1, and they get themselves back into this game. Never mind, Doggeroo here finds so much damage with the Mantra Q. The flash from Annie as well to find 2 quick kills, and Kali gonna fall as well. Make it 3. The roam from Doggeroo means I am wrong. And Mewlife gonna try to get some damage down with this Hullbreaker top lane.
Yeah, that's the, at the end of the day, this is just the life of a Scion with Hullbreaker. You don't do anything but hit turrets, and that's about it. But absolutely monster play from both sides. I really love the buffer from Galio to survive there. They were able to turn it around off of like a great catch here from Laxatin. But right here, look at that, absolutely beautiful catch. So much damage comes down, and then the fight starts to its long drawn-out phase. And look at Kali here. The Blade Caller hits absolutely no one. Kali misses the charm just barely, but it's enough to separate Suwu away from their attack damage carry. Attack Titan comes in, and this is where he overshoots his hand, overplays. Has to realize that Galio is still alive, has to realize that Galio is still in the area. And right here, thinks he has the opportunity, but no damage. A beautiful charm comes through from Kali, and now they can just chase down Radiant Cord as they wish, especially with Moby just having those boosts of swiftness. But look at this. No one anticipated the roam from Doggo. No one called it out. Doggaroo able to come around. Big Mantra Q, even with the charm hitting. It's more than enough for Annie to flash in. Everybody else gets cleaned up off of that. And right there, that's just not enough communication from the side of New Wave Vice as Abysmal Mew is forced to ultimate out.
Oh, Moby, though, gonna find the taunt down onto the Xin Zhao. He's
Look
just
at the
healing through it all.
healing.
This is ridiculous. Attack Titan finally gonna fall. Laxanet finds it. It's a 1-for-1. Radiant forced to flash. Featherstorm has been popped. Suwu gonna be taken low, gonna be taken down. The Blade Caller does find a root down onto 1, but overall it's a 1-for-2 in favor of New Wave Vice, and maybe now they're gonna be able to get some priority around this Drake, around this mid T1. Doggaroo once again looks to be roaming down, but the call does look to be to go for that Mountain Drake.
And unfortunately, Kali might get catched out here.
Yeah, the root
Doesn't
comes
have to open it.
through the
Goes for the flash!
Oh my gosh, Kali trying to just get something in response. Will end up falling regardless, but has the gall to go for the flash under tower onto the Xayah. Finds the kill, takes the 1-for-1. They get the Drake. And all of a sudden, Scariot now going to be taking a little bit of a stroll, I would say, to try and escape. Laxanet going to find the slow, going to try to just live even. Laxanet going to be taken low, has to pop the smite to stay alive. Scariot will be tagged up by the Void Seeker, but the heals from Suwu are just too much. The tier 1 falls mid. Xin Zhao taking the Rift Herald top, though. And the kill going back over. Moby overextending just a little bit there.
Yeah, right there with that kill going back over, and will come out to a relatively ahead trade for the side of Infernal Dive. And this is where I'm starting to sweat bullets if I'm New Wave Vice. This is what led to us to falling last time. Our over eagerness to make plays, hero plays for the game. And it's going to be Doggaroo face checking Mew. I think Sion honestly just walks out of it. Shouldn't have anything to worry about. No real damage from Suicidal or Doggaroo. Either way, especially with Kali with the teleport, no one expected that.
Spirit Rush available. We'll see if there's an attempt here. Knows that the Soraka should not have flash. Will opt instead to hold that. Was kind of hoping to see that. Would have loved to see the aggression. However, I think the fear is definitely there with the lack of vision. So fair enough. You know, playing it respectfully this time around. Doesn't have a flash of their own.
Yeah, right now they just lost the mid turret. Kali going in solo. They don't have the dash away. They don't have flash either.
Yeah, is gonna get rooted up, but Mew Life is here. Not sure I entirely like that when you have Hullbreaker, but has shown up just to dissuade any further aggression. Kali does just pop the Spirit Rush, nothing to come of it, but Mew here will
he canceled it early.
Early. Unfortunate there. Mew just going to get chain rooted up. Attack Titan jumping in. Finds the knockback onto 5. Kali going to be taken low. Attack Titan, though, just sustaining through so much. The knockup lands, but it does not matter.
Look at the shield.
2, 3. It's going to be number 4 as well. Double kill right now for Attack Titan. Make it a triple, and that's 4 quick kills picked up by Infernal Dive. Annie pushing bot the whole time. The 4v5 just looking so easy for this blue side team.
That's what happens when you have Karma with Moonstone, Soraka with Moonstone. They both have the item. And I was going to say something along the lines of, I think that's a little bit overstatedness, right? I feel like it is still overstated too much into the healing department. I feel like one could be going for, what's the speed up item called?
Shurelia's.
Shurelia's,
yeah.
Right, thank you. Karma would love that here, but either way, they are making it work. The double Moonstone coming out, the constant heals. Suwu with the Soraka heals, with the Wish, with Doggaroo, with the massive shields from Mantra E. It's just more than enough to keep Attack Titan alive, and he has his own Gore Drinker, his own W, his own ways of getting his health back, and it's just so hard to kill this Xin Zhao, especially once he ults. I thought he had another great flash play, forced back, I do believe it was Laxanet into the middle of the team, I think. He flashed in and ulted him back in. Absolutely monster play from them, and they just, like I said, they just know what their comp wants to do. Even without the Annie, they don't need the Annie apparently, or to play this comp out, and that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, we even see right now the gold difference on your screen over the course of this game. It looked close. It's looked back and forth. I remembered looking at my screen just like, what, 2 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, it's like about 1,000 gold lead, and all of a sudden it's just ballooned into this 5,000 gold lead right now for Infernal Dive. They have control of the map. They have 2 turrets on New Wave as well. It's 4-2 in that regard. Granted, Sion, Mew, having a good time keeping both those turrets topside alive, so does lead to this very bot-heavy map play from Infernal Dive. but it's just looking so good for them for right now.
Yeah, it really is. Now, what do I want to do if I'm in New Wave? Well, I want to be playing, I want Scion to do a split push thing. I want to put Scion bot side because what's the next objective that they're looking for? Maybe this Drake, but this Baron is always a threat. Even at 20 minutes in, when they're this strong, they can always threaten the Baron. So putting Scion bot here, especially when he has teleport, just allows you to not only play for the Drake, it allows you to also play for the Baron with the teleport flanks. Everybody else is just farming relatively deep inside mid, close to where your destroyed tier 2 is. Get vision around that so it's not too dangerous to step up into. And then play under your tier 1. Bait the tier 1, I'd say, with Niwatori or Kali. The other one's farming mid. Everybody else is like hovering around the top side. And we're just playing for that advantage as the pause ends. And yeah, you just have to try to bait someone out and really look for them to make the misstep. Because if you make the misstep, again, trying to look for such aggressive plays, it's not going to end up well as the Kintek Purifier comes out from Doggeroo. Very, very nice pickup. I love it. Absolutely. And Abysmal Muse can't decide which item he wants to finish first. And it's just right now so split across his inventory.
Definitely tough. I think the Spectre is definitely wanted for lane. Of course, the classic spectator pause bug that happens when any team pauses. Spirit Rush forward. Charm going to go wide. Su going to be taken low, though. We'll have to pop the Wish onto themselves. Kali going to be caught up here by Xin, though. It's going to be the trade. The Ahri down for the Soraka thus far. Not awful. Moby White, though, going to be trying to run away. No flash, no way out. Justice Punch as well. Now, all of a sudden, the trade's a little worse. An Infernal Dive. Pick up the 1 for 2. And Laxinant, not sure you want to be there.
Yeah, especially when Annie still has flash, and he has ultimate, and Annie has a death gap. I'd even touch on the fact that Annie has a second item death gap. I don't think that's the best, most gold efficient way to accelerate your lead here, but it's a nice item at the end of the day. It feels good to have, and it's very scary for anyone who's just looking at like, yo, what?
Speaking of yo what, I don't know if you just drew your eyes towards where mine were. So I've been noticing this over the course of the game. The Kai'Sa opting into what looked to be like a tier into lethality-esque build. Currently sitting on the serrated Dirk. He just died. Well, never mind. Thanks, directed camera. Love you. TP coming in from Kali. Spirit Rush going to be burned to try and get out. Should be able to just dash on out. Never mind. We're just going to heroic entrance in. Attack Titan going to pop the ultimate as well. Try to skirmish with Kali, who will end up flashing, who will end up falling. And it's just going from bad to worse once again for New Wave, falling apart at this mid game. Kai'Sa items, Dirk and Blasting Wand in the same build feels weird to me. Would have just liked to see no Dirk and you just opt into getting all of your upgrades by the time you hit Lost Chapter, go for the AP build. Would have loved to see that. Mew Life gonna get run down by Doggeroo. Yeah, this is how this matchup plays out. Ultimate gonna be blocked as well by Doggeroo. Mantra Q. But yeah, Doggeroo just still losing these trades, funnily enough, after running into Scion for 30 seconds straight. Will eventually back off, but this should be the prep, even just for the Baron bait, I would think, from Infernal Dive. Laxinant,
he's gonna walk right into his collector.
Laxinant finding the pickoff onto Doggeroo, so one of the two Moonstone supports going to be taken down. That will be enough for Infernal Dive to back off the Baron.
I think that was an overall smart call. You were trying to bait out, and at the end of the day, you got baited there. Your support dropping, or one of your many supports in this game dropping. It feels bad. That's about what, 900 gold, I think, given over to Laxatant. Not a good feeling at all. And I think you're right about the items for Kai'Sa here. I think it's really rough for her to have such a split build.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a huge mistake that both she's making and both Scion's making, and even to an extent Graves is making. Just finish your items. Just finish the one that you want to go for. If you think you really need that anti-heal, just get the anti-heal. Finish that component. Even if it's not necessarily the right play, just finish it so it's out of your way. You don't have to think about it anymore. And yeah.
Kali gonna land the charm down on to Attack Titan, but yeah, we've seen this before. I don't think Kali actually wants to fight this. Attack Titan knows is just gonna force this Ahri away, even taking a turret shot to assert dominance. Love to see that. Once again, bot lane just doing bot lane things, but Suwu going to be taken low, has to flash away. Kai'Sa dashing forward, will find the kill down onto the Soraka. Very big pickup to start. Attack Titan already popped the ultimate. Charm will land. Brute as well from the Everfrost. Skariet, however, picks up the Galio in the backside. It's so far a 2-for-1 with... Oh no, Kali actually pops the Hourglass. Skariet, the will fall, instantly gets dumpstered with damage, in fact. And Laxnet flashing away from Radiant Cord will find the kill. It's a 4-for-1 New Wave Vice. They found their late game. They are here, and they're pushing down the tier 2 top.
Absolutely beautiful stuff as we see Doggeroo and Mew trade back and forth, a wet noodle fight, because nothing will happen at the end of the day. But absolutely beautiful stuff from those guys. One thing I want to highlight is just, it really is, but one thing I just want to highlight is that they were just able to find Attack Titan alone. He wasn't able to link up with Suwu, or they were able to link up for just a little bit, but it wasn't enough. They need this Karma here. And right now, who's stuck dealing with Mew? The Karma. I think at this point, you already know that you can fight without Skariet. I think you just use Skariet to deal with Karma.
Oh, heroic entrance. I don't know if you kill, though. Doggeroo gonna get exhausted, gonna get knocked up by Mew, but Mew has now lost the stats from the Hullbreaker as well because Moby White is nearby. Another charge will come through. Doggeroo will actually end up falling to that Soul Furnace active. Not something you see a ton of normally, but still very good pickup there. And the Attack Titan, the frustration looks to be coming through. Ultimate gonna be popped. Kali gonna be taken out instantly, though. Does not matter. Attack Titan just healing so much. Dashing back forward onto Laxnet as well. Moby White flashing in, lands the taunt onto just the one. Laxnet will be taken low here, but Attack Titan might not have enough. Never mind, the healing is still just insane. Niwatori taken low as well, will have to run away, but Suwu extremely low. Never mind, pops the wish, so yeah, Soraka things, and they're gonna set their sights on the Baron.
Yeah, I think this is a situation where you swap where Doggeroo and Skariet are playing. You really need those shields. You really want to play that Xin Zhao Karma Soraka angle. You know, it's nice to have the AP damage in the composition, but you know, it's not really necessarily needed. To be quite honest, they're able to do it pretty much since nobody on the side of New Wave besides the Scion, you know, are building stats. You can have the Annie just go off and match him, deal with him in the side lane, and then you can have Doggeroo group up with Attack Titan. Because last time we saw it, they didn't have him. It's so much harder to win these fights. The one time that they did have him, they were winning the fights quite handedly. But even as I talk, 30 seconds until this next Drake, a Mountain Soul is on the table.
So I do want to go back to this point because this infuriates me still. I play a little too much Kai'Sa, but when you build into these AP builds, which is generally what this tier into Nashor's build does, you end up hitting your Q evolve off of Lost Chapter instead of Serrated Dirk. Not a huge fan of the Dirk because now, you know, it's a 200 gold difference. Attack Titan actually going to pop the ult early. Not too sure about this one. This fight already looking to be kind of split. But regardless, you end up hitting Q Evolve off of Lost Chapter, as weird as that sounds, because of the way that Manamune works, and cool, Laxnet dashing over. I just want to talk about Kai'Sa items. Would really like to see Crown of the Shattered Queen here. That's it. Another Void Seeker is going to land. The Drake, though, looks to be the call for New Wave. It would be the third for both teams if they're able to secure it.
Can get there first, right?
This ward is not seen, though. Attack Titan does go in, does not have access to that ultimate, but will not be able to secure the Drake. Mew does not land the knockup, but will be taken down. Featherstorm comes out. Blade Caller lands the root onto only the Ahri. Granted, Kali will go down more than likely, but Suwu going to be taken low. Heroic entrance coming through as well. Skariet will be able to run away, but all of a sudden, Niwatori not necessarily in the best spot. Skariet will be able to find the stun and go golden. It's a 2-for-1 so far in the fight. It's just going to be that, but New Wave crucially pick up their third Drake of the game. Sorry, oh my gosh.
That Drake was huge. Very nice to collect that. Just start stacking up those stats, and it makes your Scion's Hullbreaker that much stronger. What is it, like 4% for the mountains, you know, per mountain Drake, and you have two of those, that's 8% total. Very nice stat pickup, and it's only going to get stronger. And it even buffs up the members who don't have that much armor, such as Niwatori or the Ahri, right? It gives them so much more resistances that otherwise they just would not have, and you'd rather have those resistances on Attack Titan if you're the side of Infernal Dive. This is one of the big mistakes of this comp, that if they don't properly utilize Attack Titan's ultimate to fight in the middle of all their members and shut out the damage from, Jax, or sorry, Graves, Kali, and Niwatori. At the end of the day, it is just a relatively weak bruiser with two supports. So it's no Aurelia, it's no Camille, but they will be able to take a turret off of the final vestiges of Baron.
Yeah, swinging another 2,300 gold in their favor. Granted, well, it's starting to go down because the CS pickups and whatnot, so it ends up being about 2,100 gold in their pockets as a result of that Baron. And, considering how dominant they're looking in some of these fights, only a 2,100 power play off of a Baron feels kind of weird, considering you get 1,500 just for killing it, right? So you only really gained an additional 600 off of taking it. They do open up the map pretty considerably. They get that top tier 1. They get a little more pressure across the rest of the map, but now you're looking at New Wave Vice. They're sitting on Soul Point for the time being, and it's going to force Infernal Dive to really look and see if they're able to take a fight here. Doggeroo, though, might be caught not in a great spot, but
Suwu is the real question.
Exactly. Graves just jumping onto this Soraka. Collateral damage will not find the kill. Wish was popped early, but Attack Titan jumps onto the Kaisa. It might not be enough. Suwu going to be taken low, but will flash away. Xayah with the feathers, or the pullback rather, from the Blade Caller will do so much. And now we see Moby trying to just disrupt this. Xin Zhao will not be able to do enough. Featherstorm comes through. Kali gets obliterated, eviscerated, and it's 3 quick kills for the side of Infernal Dive. Sion going to be ulting to try and just do as much damage to this base as possible. Mew just trying to hit the turret, but it's not going to be enough. Skariet will find the stun with the Disintegrate, and now all of a sudden Mew taking so much damage. Granted, still Hullbreaker things. It's going to take a while to chew through this top laner, but he should end up falling. Gonna flash away though, but it doesn't seem to matter. 4 members from Infernal Dive pushing into the base. No wave though. Very big Void Seeker to deny the minion from staying alive. 5 seconds left on Graves, 5 seconds left on Galio. Sure, Skariet and Mew are fighting. Skariet does not have the teleport, so in the meantime,
Niwatori died?
Yeah, I guess we're just not gonna focus on Kaisa's death, but Doggeroo will find the root. That's 1 Nexus turret falling. Radiant Cord will find the root down onto Moby White. Laxanet trying to just keep this game alive. The shutdown comes through for Laxanet on to the Xin Zhao, but Radiant Cord will be taken not low at all even. Laxanet will almost fall. Kali trying to make something happen here, but it might just be too little too late. Laxanet trying to get something done here, but the Nexus is the focus right now for Infernal Dive. That's going to be another kill. They're looking to just pad the stats. Infernal Dive taking the 2-0 over New Wave Vice.
That one from the very last part was just an absolute battle. An absolute scrum. They were just going crazy, back and forth trades coming out, and it was, at the end of the day, it is Infernal Dive taking the W there, and I think that's the big fallacy of picking, a Scion, a tank, but having him split push. He's no Shin, right? He can't be there on the touch of a hat. He can't be there, or he's not even a good split pusher like a Trundle or Fiora or Camille rather. He's a tank that wants to split push, but he's building an item that dissuades grouping, and it's just a complete mess of a champion at the moment, a complete mess of a thing to try to use in competitive play, and it just fell through for the side of New Vice. I think they had some good picks, they had some good plays, they were definitely playing around the Xin Zhao ultimate really well. I thought that 100%, but at the end of the day, it's just Soraka, Karma, Xin Zhao, and they just do whatever they want. And Radiant Core, absolute huge showing on the Xayah towards the end of the game, but the early game was 100%, 120% dictated by that Xin Zhao.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. I think there were a lot of highlights, and Moby mentioned this. Again, I will keep bringing this up because I love hearing this. Even as a team that is now 0-3 after tonight, they feel like they have a lot of positives. They feel like they've been playing well. We saw it reflected in tonight's games. Even their early games, both games looked really, really strong, really solid. They were playing really well early on as a team, and yeah, it started to fall apart a little later, but there's definitely a lot of good things to see. And for Infernal Dive, now they're sitting 2-1 in this group, the group that was considered to be the hardest one to get out of, to come out of the top, or as one of the top 2 teams in this group. You're fighting against RAR, who is projected right now to go 3-0. We'll have to see what happens with Hyperion, of course. But if RAR does end up winning tonight, this group now sits at RAR 3-0, Infernal Dive 2-1, Hyperion at 1-2, New Wave at 0-3 after the first round robin. That's a tough hole to get out of if you're New Wave, especially when we mentioned of the 4 groups, this is arguably the hardest one.
Yeah. I I won't say it's impossible, but like you said, it's insanely hard. It's super difficult to do. And you're right. I don't think they're that much behind the other groups in terms of raw skill or mechanical skill. Just a few issues with the drafting and a few macro late game decisions and untapped aggression that they need to like calm down on. And I think they could definitely become a top tier team that can easily contest RAR or just even take number 2 from Infernal Dive here.
Yeah, we'll have to see. With that, the first round robin has been completed here in Group B, at least for the stream. And we'll have to see next week. We will be taking off. We do have just the community matchups that we will be supporting and publicizing on our Discord. So keep an eye out for which streams we'll be running next week. Until then, the next games will be week 5. We are going to be planning to cover one of the Group C matchups. I believe we will double check on that, but they have yet to be seen on stream. Interested to see what's going to happen over there as well. First round robin complete. Group B looks to be pretty set as to where we're looking, but I think we're in agreement here, Arlen. New Wave Vice. There's a lot of positives. There's a lot to look forward to, and this second round robin could really spice up this group.
Absolutely. Once they get some more practice under the belt, once they get some more scrims and talks with their coach and VOD reviews, I think we're looking at a real contender to get out of the group and at least take number 2 from Infernal Dive. But that remains to be seen. We need to see how RAR plays out against Hyperion in their upcoming match.
Yeah, it's definitely spicy. I'm excited to see Group B. I think that speaks for everyone who watches the Zero Gravity Gaming Gold League. Of course, we will have to see. Second round robin will be starting up here in 2 weeks. Next week, once again, community matchups. We will be putting shoutouts to those when we figure out exactly how the logistics of that will be running. But until we see you guys 2 weeks from now, I have been MXL, joined by Arlen. Thank you, as always, for being here on our Thursday nights, and we will see you later on. Take care.